Okay, how's it going, everybody? It is around 8 o'clock here on a Saturday evening in New Zealand. Hope everyone's doing all right. This is my second attempt at streaming. My first stream, the frame rates were really bad. They were like 5 frames per second, and I figured out why. It's the streaming software OBS and the webcam plugin not too good. So the clever me decided to use Cheese and Ubuntu software, and Cheese is the default webcam program. Just load it up in Cheese and then pointed OBS at the cheese, and it's a bit cheesy, but we're here and we're at good frame rates, so let's get this party kicking. We're playing a game called Deep Space D-6. It is a solitaire crew assignment game. You survive the depths of space. Something I forgot to look up beforehand, and I'm going to do that right now. So my apologies for delaying, but I wanted to get something, which is very important because my last stream I was not using the correct terminology. So if we can see here, we have the commander. So that's excuse me. We have different names for each of our side of the dice, and each side of the dice is a crew. So that is a commander. That's the science. So green is science, orange is engineering, red is tactical, purple is medical, and threat detected is the gray. So to keep that in my head, so when I, get the results of the dice, I'll try to use the right names. So I'll have that out handy for myself. I went through the rules of my first stream. I'll kind of go through a bit in this one, not to the extent I did in the last one, even though the quality isn't as good. We're going to use panic cards. So the last game I lost, I only had one panic, so I was playing on hard mode. We're going to go ahead and select medium, see if we can pull out a win here. We're going to use 3 don't panic cards. So we're going to play fast mode. We're going to reduce our deck by 8 cards. And we're going to play with the boss, Ouroboros. Really enjoy this case. It's pretty sweet. Also going to be playing on the left-hand side with upgrade cards. Upgrades are from the new expansion, the Endless. And that just came out with his new Kickstarter, and it's also was available on the Back Kicker. That's how I got it. I'm sure retail will be coming out very soon. So these are really awesome. They allow you to use dice that normally wouldn't be usable, maybe because there's just nothing else to do with them. They add some really nice upgrades. I really like Shatter Mines, as I stated in the previous stream. Shatter Mines are my favorite upgrade because you can just destroy external threats. Very nice card. Biotic Metlab is also good. You can send a guy from the infirmary back to returned. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards. My shuffling isn't that great, but we're going to try anyways. And I'm going to reduce this deck down by 8 cards, so discarding 8. And then I'm going to shuffle again. I'm going to add the don't panics and then shuffle again. So that's good. I'll cut the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's add these bad boys in. Shuffle again. Really got to learn how to shuffle better. What do you think? Should I sleeve these things or no? I'm on 2 hats with sleeves. Yeah, they're good at protecting cards, but they've reduced the quality of the game experience. I really like the look of the text and the graphics without sleeves. Sleeving them really makes it harder to look at least the sleeves that I have. If you have recommendations of good sleeves that preserve quality, let me know, especially for tiny cards like these. So we're going to go ahead and start the game. Before we start, we'll look at Halcyon, the name of the beginner starship. Look on the back as we start always. The Halcyon is a RPTR class, light exploration starship outfitted for combat. It was previously the backbone of the United Earth's fleet until decommissioned in favor of the Athena. Armed with versatile laser cannons and a modified observational stasis beam, the Halcyon continues to prove invaluable to UE missions, where reconnaissance is essential. It has a offensive 6, a defensive 6, and a utility of 6. Gameplay notes. The Halcyon is a well-balanced ship, making it ideal for beginners and new players. That's me. Its lasers can be boosted to output significant damage, boom boom, which can also be split among multiple targets. That is a good thing. There are other ships that do not allow you to split damage. The stasis beam is a powerful tool when used defensively. Do not be afraid to prioritize it over recharging the shields. That is very true. I oftentimes use stasis. Commanders, which I now know is this dice, can be used on other commanders. So we can, I guess, switch his dice around. All right, we need to set our hull to full health, 8, and we'll charge up our shields. And when we start the game, we start with 2 threats. Shield platform protects external threats. That means it'll defend other. Okay, so right now there's 2 differences. External threats go over here. External threats are known or indicated as a triangle. Internal threats are rectangular. Distracted means I have to take one of my crew dice, not starting out very good, and placing it here. He is unavailable for me to use until I either roll a 4 or a 3, or I use 2 of the medical officers. So those are my 2 threats. I will start my turn right now. Now what I'm wondering is, before I was moving it back and forth, but I think you can see pretty well. I'm just going to roll from here. You guys can let me know if you want me to move it back and forth, but I kind of like just keeping it where it is. So my turn begins. I roll my crew dice. Threat detected. Always goes there. Then I'm going to set my dice down here and decide what I will do with them. I always like setting them down and taking them out of the dice tray. Just lets me have a better view of how things are going. So I've got 2 engineers, 1 science officer, and a medical officer. So the medical officer, you would think, oh, I could set him here, but I need 2 medical officers to actually satisfy that internal threat. You cannot use them between turns, so unfortunately my commander is still distracted. So I will use my medical officer and return a single threat detected. So that will go into the return pile. It doesn't look like I can do anything else except for upgrades. So I'm going to use my 2 engineers and start researching Shattered Mind. So I use 2 dice, so I move it to the second. I need a total of 4 engineers to research Shattered Mind, so I use 2. I always like to research Biotic MetLab second because that's quite important later in the game. So really nothing to do with him. That's okay. So the Now it's the end. I'm done with pretty much everything I can do. We'll let the computer have their turn. So we draw one threat card. Shows pandemic. It's an internal threat. If I roll a 1, I send one of my units into the infirmary. When a unit is in the infirmary, it cannot be used, just like distracted. So now we roll the threat die. A 6. There's no internal threats with a 6 and no external. So now it's back to my turn. I cannot use the commander because he is still distracted. Let's go ahead and roll for gold. That's pretty good. I'll set them down here. So 2 tactical officers, an engineer, a science officer, and a commander. I think we'll use these guys to kill the shield platform. So normally they're one by themselves. They have 1 damage, but with a second die, he'll get 2. So that's a total of 3. We blow up the shield platform. So shield platform is dead. We still have 3 officers yet to assign. I would really like to take care of distracted, but there's nothing I can do there. I'll use this and get rid of pandemic. So that is the science officer. You can either use a science officer or a medical officer. I'll choose science and discard the pandemic. Okay, now I'll use one of these for Shattered Minds. And why not? I'll change my commander to an engineer and complete the Shattered Minds research project. And Shattered Minds is awesome. If you use a tactical officer and an engineer, you can place this card above the threat deck, and the next external threat is immediately defeated. Ah, okay, cool. I might have been playing that wrong, and I just read it. That's good. Anyways, Shattered Minds is awesome. So let's go ahead and choose another threat. It is a Space Pirates. Space Pirates? Looks like 1 ship, so a Space Pirate to me. -2 hull. If you roll a 3 or a 6. So let's go ahead and get this party started. I want to roll a 4. I did! Look at that. I should go to Vegas, huh? So 4 means distracted is completed. I get to return my guy and discard this card. And Space Pirates is not activated. Now it's my turn to roll. I am back at full crew strength. We're ready to rock and roll. 2 threats detected. Never good when you throw 2 threats, or 3 or 4. I've done that. So we have 1 engineer, 2 medical officers, and a commander. What are we going to do here? I like Bionic MetLab, but I also like having dice. Normally, I would like to try to research them, but I'm going to instead use them to return my threat detected. I can research 2 things at one time. I think I'm going to attack, or should I use a Shatter Mine? Let's use a Shatter Mine. So a tactical officer and engineer, use that on a Shatter Mine. So I place it above the threat deck. The next external threat is immediately defeated. I was playing that wrong. I was removing it if I got an internal threat, but I think it just stays there for the next external threat. So that's the way I'm going to play it in this game. Oh, that is brilliant. A flagship. A flagship is worth does 3 hull of damage, has 4 health. It's a massive target, and it quite 3 out of 6 times it's going to be hitting, so 50% chance of hitting. This guy, it's really good I had Shatter Mines. That's all I have to say about that. He is blown up, dead. And Shatter Mines gets returned back to be used again. I think that's how Shattered Minds. I don't need to research it again. Okay, so we will roll the threat die. 2 does not activate the Space Pirates. This game is going really well for me so far. I have full crew dice. Let's go ahead and roll. Come on, money. All right, threat detected. A commander, an engineer, 2 science officers, and a medical officer. How are we going to split this up? We could do a Shatter Mind. Man, I want to research Biotic MetLab, but I do believe it's better to still have an extra die, so I'm going to return him. Use my medical officer for that. Cloaking Field is good. Cloaking Field is very good. So I think I will stasis, which means this: if I roll a 3 or 6, Space Pirates does not activate. Then I'll use one of my science engineers to start researching Cloaking Field. So I have this. It only makes sense to use the engineer and tactical for another Shatter Mine. I mean, I could knock him down 1, but this is just too powerful. Okay. It is now the computer's turn, and look at that Crosshair. Would have been 2, but it is dead. It has 3 out of 6 chance of doing 2 damage, and my Shatter Mine wins the day again. You can see why I really like Shatter Mines. There's no point in rolling a threat die because there's only Space Pirates as the only threat, and he's being stasis, so he cannot activate. So my turn to roll again. Oh, this is going much better than the previous game. Let's see if I can keep it up. Granted, I was playing on hard in the last game. So we have a tactical officer, 2 commanders, an engineer, a science officer, and a medical officer. Well, I know what I'm doing with this. I'm going to start researching Biotic MetLab. I need to kill those Space Pirates. There's no reason not to. I'm going to still use Shatter Mines. I know that seems a bit cheesy, but it's too good. It's too good. Research Cloaking Field. We'll do 1 damage. We'll go ahead and kill the Space Pirate. No need to. It's 3 damage. I'm overkilling them, but I don't want them around. So with Shatter Mines, a Warbird does -3 whole damage and ignores shields. Shatter Mines blows them up. You can see why getting Shatter Mines is usually my first thing. No threats. I'm doing good. So really, at this point, looking to either use shatter mines or upgrading cards because, well, one threat detected. Whoa. 4 commanders? 4 commanders? Oh, I would have loved to have an advanced tactics. Advanced tactics allows you to re-roll 2 times. But unfortunately, you can only research 2 at a time. I wonder, I haven't thought about this, but can I switch my researching? I don't see why you couldn't. Although, I mean, because this is very rare. That's why I would consider advanced tactics. Getting 4 of them. I mean, that's only 1 more. I could just complete Biotech MetLab. That's what I'm going to do. Ignoring Shattered Minds for the turn, because I've been doing pretty well in that. So we'll change my commander to Science. 3 Science Officers. And 1 Engineer. And that completes the Biotech MetLab. The reason I like this is because once per round, you may return 1 unit from the infirmary during step 6. Let's go ahead and draw a threat. Orbital Cannon. Kind of wish I had the Shatter Mine on this. It cannot be damaged unless it is the only threat. Man, last game I got stuck with that because I had a bunch of threats that I couldn't deal with. Internal threats as well. See, this says it's the only threat, so it doesn't say internal or external. So if you have some internal threats laying around, this thing sticks. I forgot about this. It's okay. Got to roll for threat. 6, no damage. So now I have 5 rolling my crew. Not terrible. 1 commander, 1 science officer, 1 threat detected, 1 medical officer, and an engineer. I think we need to blast the orbital cannon because that thing can just stick around and be a big nuisance. So we're going to change our commander into a tactical officer and blast the orbital cannon. 1 damage, he is dead. So I think we do some researching. Spend our science officer on researching Cloaking Field. Spend our engineer on researching the Cloaking Field. And finally, we will use our medical officer to return a threat. Let's go ahead and get a threat card. Cloaked Threats. If you roll a 2 after the threat phase, roll the threat die again. Ouch. That could be a problem. Doesn't really matter because, well, I rolled a 2, so I roll it again, but there's no other external threats, so no one's going to be doing damage to me. Tell you what, this has been going pretty easy. Here we go. We have 2 medical officers, which I kind of need for my own health. We have 2 science officers and 1 commander. What are we going to do, folks? I think we take care of the cloak threat because that could be a problem later on. Spend a science officer on him and discard. What else should we do? We will use a medical officer and return a threat. Threat detected guy. Or it's just threat detected. I'm not... Instructions just say threat detected. What else do they say about him? I'm not sure. Anyways, we still have 3 dice left to deal with. Unfortunately, cannot use a shattered mine. I have no engineers. I could research gravity nuke, but man, that's a pretty steep penalty. 2 damage to all threats. Set shields to 0. You may not. Although that is pretty good. I only have 4 shields, 8 hull, so that's not a huge damage on me. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. I haven't used. I'm gonna research gravity nuke. Can't do anything else with my science officer. So then it comes to him. Do I want to I'm going to finish off cloaking field. Change this to an engineer. I've got 1 more left. Should be pretty easy to do. Let's go ahead and draw the threat card. Boarding ship. If you roll a 3 or a 4, it does -2 hull. And if you have any tactical officers assigned, or that if you rolled tactical officers, you send them to the infirmary. Pretty harsh. Let's go ahead. Luckily, I don't have any this turn. 2. Nothing. And I'm back to full crew strength. Let's roll these. Only 1 threat detected. I guess that's alright. 1 out of 6 chance. We've got 2 commanders. Commander. We've got 3 science officers. I could use a shatter mine. I cannot kill the boarding ship. Ooh, I could get a cloaking field. Just having a look at what cloaking field does. Oh, that would be nice. So I don't roll any threats. I think we'll do that. Go ahead and finish off cloaking field. Change one of my commanders to an engineer. Finish off this guy. Cloaking field. I did not throw any tacticals this turn. It says if they weren't assigned, so I'm guessing you have to assign them, or if you roll them, I'm not sure. Definitely going to use one of my science officers on a cloaking field. And now I have 3 things left to do. Let's go ahead and research gravity nuke. And let's get gravity nuke going. Send that guy to as an engineer, and gravity nuke 1 more time with a science officer. Let's draw a threat card. It is an internal threat. Robot uprising. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3, send a unit to the infirmary. Not a big deal because I do have bionic met lab, and I don't have to worry about the orbital cannon. That's something like, if you have an internal threat like robot uprising and orbital cannon, you cannot kill orbital cannon if you have the internal. And in this case, like, I don't really care too much about robot uprising because I've got a bionic met lab, which just at the end of my turn sends my guy from the infirmary back. So it's not a huge deal. We're not rolling any any threat dice because cloaking field is activated. They can't see me, even the robots. So we'll go ahead and roll my dice. That's a horrible roll. That's terrible. So we have 3 threat detected device. That means we automatically draw an additional threat. What is it? A nebula. My shields are now offline. The nice thing about nebula is that it destroys itself. So if I roll pretty much anything except a 6, it does a -1 health after it's destroyed. After it's destroyed, I get my shields back. Well, my shields come back online at health 0. So now we've done that. These go to return, and I have yet another one. Ugh. Rolling 4 is difficult. So I have 1 fire lasers and 1 tactical officer and 1 medical officer. Medical officer, I will send the other guy to return, and I'll fire my lasers. No reason to fire them at Nebula. I'll fire them at the boarding ship. So 1 damage. And on top of that, we still take another threat. Time warp. Maybe I should have... Oh, I didn't roll. Yeah. So this is another internal threat. For roll of 2, all threats recover 1 health. That is devastating. And I need 2 science officers to fix the time warp problem. Let's go ahead and roll the threat dice, and here we go. 6. No boarding ship. And no nebula either. What an unlucky roll. Well, at least I have no damage. None of the ships are... None of the threats have damaged me. So we'll go ahead and grab my guys. Hopefully this will be a better roll than last roll. That last roll was pretty terrible. Another threat. We have 1 commander, 2 science officers, a medical officer, and a tactical officer. What are we going to do, folks? We will assign a tactical officer to the lasers and have a go. I'm not sure who I'm going to shoot. Still think the boarding ship, do 1 damage to him. Cannot use cloaking field because I have assigned a tactical officer. I think I'm going to spend 2 science officers on time warp. Discard time warp. Gotta clear those when you can. We'll use a medical officer to bring back the threat detected. And finally we have a commander. Now I could kill the boarding ship, and that is what I'm going to do. 2 damage. Boarding ship is now destroyed. Let's grab another Solar Wind. Oh, that's a hard card. Ugh. Solar Wind cannot be attacked. It has infinite health. And whenever I roll a 2, I get -5 health. It's pretty terrible when you have no shields to absorb that hit. And there's a 2. Well, at least I don't have to worry about it late game. It's better to get it over with. So I do -5. I'm on no shield. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is devastating. Solar Winds is discarded. At least Nebula takes -1 damage, and we send one of our guys into the infirmary. Thanks to Biotic MetLab, we can return him back. So create a room. I guess I should create a room. Didn't realize I needed to create a room. Stream chat. Don't need that. Okay. Sorry, I was just looking at the stream stuff, seeing how that's going. So I think it was my turn, right? Yes, because we did Solar Wind. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my dice. All 6 of them. Move the threat die out of the way. Roll! 3 science officers. No, excuse me. 3 medical officers, 2 tactical officers, and 1 commander. Fabulous. There's nothing I can research. Well, medical officers are doing nothing. They're dead weight. Not helping at all. Set them aside. I think I'll let Nebula kill itself. Got nothing to repair. Shatter Mine. Switch my commander to an engineer, and now we have Shatter Mines. Still have Robot Uprising. And then, well, we might as well kill the Nebula. Spend the 1 and blow up Nebula. So our shields will go back online, but start at 0. We will draw the threat. I could panel explosion. You may not assign engineers. So that protects Robot Uprising. No, we'll go ahead and roll the dice. Doesn't really matter. 2, send a guy to the infirmary, and then Biotic Met Lab pulls him out. Kind of struggling mid-game here with only 3 hold, 0 shields. I need to... Shatter Mind stays there. 1 threat detected. 2 medical officers. 2 science. And 1 tactical. I kind of need to recharge shields. So I'll spend a science on panel explosion. He will fix that. The other science officer will pull down a threat detected. And I'll spend these 2 guys on shields and fire lasers into the oblivion. Shatter Minds blows up the scout. If you lost hull this round, lose 1 additional hull. Guess what, scout? You are dead. Mines for the win. Let's go ahead and roll the threat die. Doesn't matter too much. 1. Send him to the infirmary. Biotic Met Lab throws him out. Pairs him up. Let's go ahead and roll. 2 tactical officers, 1 medical, 1 engineer, and 2 science. Well, I have to do that. I don't have to, but I'm going to get rid of my Robot Uprising just so that it's gone. So the engineer fought off the robots, or he hacked the code and fixed them. I'm not sure which. I'm going to spend those on shield 1, 2, because I'm really low on hull. Can I do anything with these guys? Nothing. Nothing! Go ahead and draw a threat. Alright, don't panic. Just what I needed. I need to repair my ship. Glad to have no reason to roll the threat die because there are no threats. 2 engineers, 1 threat. 1 tactical, 1 medical officer, and a commander. I don't know why I can't memorize these dice. Have to keep referring to the instructions. Well, I need to repair hull. So that's 1, that's +2. So that's +2 and 1, so 3. So we'll heal 3. 1, 2, 3. That's like, I think we need to shatter mine, protect ourselves. So we will change our commander to an engineer and assign the shatter mine. Drop our shatter mines, move our medical officer, and pass the threat. What do they say when he does that? They say, return a threat. What is he doing? How's the medical officer returning a threat? He's calming him down. He's giving him some Prozac. That's what's happening. Here we go. Internal threat. It is an invader. If I roll a 2 or a 4, I send a unit to the infirmary. Not a huge deal. Shatter Mine's still out for the external threat. I rolled a 5. It does nothing. So we'll go ahead and roll our crew dice. Spinny dice. Oh, 3 science officers. Rolling quite a bit of science. 3 medical officers. 1 science, 1 commander, and 1 engineer. I cannot use my medical guys for anything. I'll just set them aside. So it's really down to 3 dice. I can't touch the invaders, so I already have Shatter Mine out. It's just upgrading. I could get Gravity Nuke. I could research Gravity Nuke, or I could repair my hull. Let's go ahead and spend a science on Gravity Nuke and spend an engineer on Gravity Nuke. Bam. So we have Gravity Nukes. I'll read that to you. A Gravity Nuke, if you have a tactical and a science officer, 2 damage to all threats. Set shields to 0. You may not recharge shields this round. Hugely powerful. Probably good against the Ouroboros, the final boss. I'll be interested to see how that works out. Finally, we have 1 more guy left. I will spend this on an engineer and repair my hull. It's more important than a Gauss cannon. Let's go and draw a threat. Good. It's external. It's a bounty ship. A 1 or a 2. Destroy all shields and -1 hull. Guess what? My Shatter Mine shatters you, bounty ship. You're dead. Let's roll our threat die. 5 does nothing. Roll all 6 of my crew die. Come on. No external, no threats. No threat detected. Oh, 3. 3 threat detected. 3 threats. So we draw a threat card. It's an internal threat. Cosmic existentialism. Must be completed before assigning any other science crew. Requires a science crew. And these are returned. Engineer, commander, and a tactical officer. What are we going to do, Jordy? Going to help us out? Or Picard? Worf is our tactical officer. Worf, you've been doing nothing all game, man. There's nothing for you. Okay, I think we Worf says drop another mine, and I'll listen to him. So using tactical and engineer and dropping a shatter mine. I think we take care of existentialism. So we'll change this guy into a commander into a science. Get rid of that. Still have invaders. Let's go ahead and draw a threat. Oh, comms offline. You may not assign commanders. And that requires an engineer to fix. Go ahead and roll a 3. Does nothing. Invaders is a 2 and a 4. Let's go ahead and roll our crew dice. Two threat dice. 2 threats detected. 2 commanders, but guess what? I cannot assign them. That's really bad. So all I have is a science officer. Man. My shields are at full, so I might as well use a cloaking field. Not that it matters, because an external threat is going to be killed if he comes out. Friendly fire. Immediately send all of your tactical officers to the infirmary, then discard. Guess what? No tactical officers. No problem with that. Still shatter mines. Cloaking field, so I do not roll a threat dice. Get rid of this comms offline. There's a commander, an engineer, a medical, and a tactical. One of everything. Well, not a science. So I'm going to get rid of comms offline. That is a very bad status effect. So my engineer repaired our comms. Our comms were offline, now they're online. Already have a shattered mine. So let's take care of the invaders. I'm going to change my commander to tactical and blow up the invaders. Finally got rid of them. They were somewhere on, the lower decks. And we'll use one of our medical officers to return a threat. Let's draw a threat card. Boost morale. This is actually a good internal threat. If I roll a 6, I return a threat. Let's go ahead and roll. 5. Down to 5 crew dice. Reminding you that if I have no crew dice to throw, I lose the game. 1 commander, 1 tactical, 2 engineers, and 1 medical. I don't think there's anything I can do with tactical, so I'll set him aside. I will repair my hull. I'll spend the other engineer on upgrading Gauss cannon. Man, I'm doing really good with upgrades. And then I'll spend my commander on a advanced tactics. And I'll use my medical on returning a threat. I've got a pretty good handle on it. Hijacker is going to get blown up by shattered mines. They rolled a 4 or 5 minus 2 hull. See how powerful shatter mines are? Especially because they last turn to turn. I think. I can get clarification one more time on that. Shatter mines. I'll read it to you. A threat defeated this way still activates any effect that would normally occur. Okay. If an internal threat is drawn, the mines have no effect. Whoa. Return the mines to your ship after they have been used. Return the mines to your ship. Okay. I need some rules lawyering. Maybe I've played that wrong in this game. In previous games, I've been just returning it. A threat defeated this way still activates any effect that would normally occur. If an internal threat is drawn, the mines have no effect. Return the mines to your ship after they have been used. What do you guys think? Have I been playing it wrong? Most likely. All of my previous games, I've been playing it. If I draw an internal threat, it's tough luck. I put it back. This game, I kind of read it at the start and thought, oh, maybe I got that wrong. But it says if the mine hits an internal effect, an internal threat, it has no effect. Seems like it still goes off. So it still blows up. Okay. So maybe that's why this game has been going a bit easier than my previous games. I'll start playing it the other way. I do apologize. Anyways, hijackers are blown up. I think. Yep. So I'll roll a 5. But see, it says they're destroyed. They're immediately defeated, so it wouldn't have any effect unless I rolled the threat, so I think I'm fine. Okay, let's roll my dice. Okay. It seemed a little bit too easy with those shatter mines. Threat detected. The nice thing about it being single player is that it's okay if I got it wrong. Just blame myself. No one's going to call a judge on me. And I'll start playing it right from now on. So 2 tactical officers, 2 engineers, and 1 science officer. We will use our engineers on the Gauss cannon. We will use our science engineer, our science officer on cloaking field. And our tactical officers do nothing. Draw the threat. We drew a space pirate, but guess what? We're not rolling threat dice because we have a cloaking field up. So we will roll. Not rolling the threat dice, just going back to rolling our dice. Commander, 2 tactical officers, and 2 engineers. What are we going to do? I think we kill the space pirates. So we'll use tactical officers. 3 damage, and it only has 2 holes, so it is dead. Pretty easy. We will research the Gauss cannon. Gauss cannon is pretty awesome. You roll the threat die. If it's 1 tactical officer on a 1 or a 2, you do 4 damage. If you assign 2 tactical officers to the Gauss cannon, if you roll a 1 through 4, you do 4 damage. That's really good odds at doing 4 damage. So the benefit on this particular ship is 1 additional damage. if you're using 2 of them. Obviously, if you only use 1, you're going from 1 to 4. Still have a commander left. I'll research advanced tactics. Draw a threat. It is a destroyer. Let's roll the threat dice. 2. Nothing happens. And we will roll. Yeah. Shattered Minds, I was playing it a bit wrong. Oh well. That's why I think this game's gone so smoothly. Whereas my last game was, I died at the end. 2 commanders, 1 tactical, 1 engineer, and 1 science. Definitely do 1 damage to the destroyer with our tactical officer. I think I'll stasis the destroyer and use these guys, the commanders, to research advanced tactics. Rerolling is pretty good. And our engineer will do nothing. So let's draw a threat. Nothing happens. Don't panic. Well, I'll go ahead and roll because of boost morale. I would take a 6. 3. The destroyer stasis, so he does not attack. Let's roll. Too many medical officers. 1 would be okay, but 4. So spend 1 to return a threat. Science officer stasis the destroyer. What do I do with these 3? Nothing. Let's go ahead and draw. Raiders. If you roll a 4 or 6, -1, and it ignores shields. Oh, that was dumb of me. I should use cloaking field. I'm gonna walk that back, so I don't need to throw the die. Nah, that's cheating. I stasis the destroyer. There's no reason because I don't have any guys up there either. Oh well. 1. Stasis to the destroyer. I just need to keep in my head that if I don't roll any tactical officers, that cloaking field is available. No damage, no harm done. Making mental notes. Let's go and roll the dice. Threat detected. 1, 2. 2 threat detects. 2 medical officers. Probably going to use those. And, well, definitely using medical officers to grab my threats detected and use our fire lasers. So I have 3 damage and raiders have 2. 1, 2, and 1 more on the destroyer. Dead. I think we're going to get to Orboros. Probably defeat it. Let's go ahead and draw. Strike Bomber. 2 or 4. Roll on the dice. -1 whole. And it sends unit to the infirmary. 2. -1. 1 shield. Send a unit to the infirmary. Bionic Met Lab. Bam. Let's roll 6. See if we can repair that shield and kill the Strike Bomber. 1 threat detected. 1 science, 1 engineer, 2 medical, and a commander. Spend the medical on the threat detected. cannot kill the strike bomber. I could complete advanced tactics. Let's do that. Spend my commander on advanced tactics. Beep. So I have all upgrades. I've never done this in the past. It's maybe because how I was playing Shattered Minds. It kind of frees up your dice in the. So I've never unlocked all 6 of them before. I don't think that's correct. But we're going to see how it plays. Advanced tactics. During step 1, you may re-roll your crew up to 2 times. You must keep any threats that are rolled. It's pretty sweet. I think I will stasis the strike bomber and do nothing with these guys. Strike bomber. Double the trouble. At least I've got stasis on one of them. 6. Boost morale. I don't have any, but we'll go ahead and discard it. Two threats detected. Oh, 3 engineers. Oh, let's hold on. I can re-roll up to 2 times. I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to re-roll my engineers. I don't need engineers. My ship is running swimmingly. Oh, threat detected. Gotta keep those, and they're returned. Raiders. Does -1 hull and ignore shields. Whoa, that's not as good as what I wanted. I think I keep the science. Reroll my last reroll. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So we have 2 tactical officers. That's 3 damage. Let's get rid of a strike bomber of 1, 2, and I don't like strike bombers, although that one's not as big of a deal. Let's go ahead. I don't like guys going to the infirmary. We'll attack that for my 3rd damage. And we'll stasis the strike bomber. Let's roll threats. No. I get a new threat. Rescue Telepath. Discard to look at the next 5 cards of the threat deck, and it requires a medical officer. That's awesome. 5. Nothing. Definitely want to use that because I only have a few cards left. If I can use that as soon as possible, that helps me in deciding about Shatter Minds. Two commanders, 2 engineers, and that's an engineer, and 2 medical. What are we going to do? I can kill the raider, so that is... Well, first of all, before I do that, I'm going to spend a medical and use Rescue Telepath. Look at the 5 cards. Because it's single player, says you look at them. There's no reason for me to put them back. So don't panic. Meteoroid. Rescue Soldier. These are all good. A Fighter. And the last. So these are all the 5 cards. And a Strike Bomber. So I'm assuming if you're playing Shatter Minds correctly, this is very important. Because you know when to use them or not. So I'm gonna kill those ships. There's no reason not to. 2 tactical commanders into 2 tactical officers, 3 damage. So that's 1 damage, and 2 more damage. Nothing to do with the medical officer and our engineers. I think that's it. We draw the threat. Don't panic. Don't need to roll threat dice. Meteoroid. I need to just get rid of that as soon as I can. This is a good roll. It's a very good roll. Let's get rid of the meteoroid. It's a threat, so I will use a engineer and a change of commander to a tactical. Use Shattered Mind. So meteoroid is going to die, but I will still take the effects of it. Recharge a shield. Anything else I should be doing? Nope. So go ahead and draw a threat. It's the meteoroid. My Shatter Minds blows it up. When destroyed, -5 hull, so I take 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rescue soldiers coming out, so not a big deal. Really, this turn is about building my shields back up and preparing for the final boss. 1 threat detected. A medical officer, science officer, 2 engineers, and a commander. Still pretty good rolls. I got 2 re-rolls if I need them. There's no reason to put out Shattered Mind, so it's all about healing up. So we will use the science officer to heal 1 shield. I think we'll spend 1 hull on, 1 engineer on a hull, another 1 on the science officer to repair shields, and re-roll these guys. Threat, but I wanted science, so I recharge my shield to 3. Draw the rescue soldier, which discards to re-roll all threats. That'll be really good for the boss. So if I can unlock that, no reason to roll threat die. Rolling 4. Threat comes out. That's a fighter. But I could easily defeat that. That was a commander. So we will use 1 tactical to blow the fighter up. I know Ouroboros is coming out and he's going to be attacking straight away, so I could kill the strike bomber and not give him a chance to attack along with Ouroboros. So I will change this to engineer and just have 1 less shield. Using Shatter Mind. Threat comes out. It's the last one to draw, so this gets blown up. However, Ouroboros comes out when you draw it, and I always play that he attacks. Makes it a little bit more challenging. I don't know the official rule on that, but it seems like it says that Ouroboros comes out when the last guy is, when the damage deck is empty. So I am going to assume that they attack along with the rest of the threats. We're doing pretty good though. Shield barrier. Let's go through Ouroboros real quick if you haven't seen him before. He is the boss. The expansion has another boss as well. We'll go from bottom up. Barrier protects Ouroboros. 5. If you roll a 5, it recharges the barrier, and it returns it to play if destroyed. So I'm assuming recharge bearer means it goes back to 2 health. That means I can't attack anything else. It's like a big shield, so I gotta attack that first. The other 2 health is attack matrix. While active, roll the threat dice 2 times. That'll be happening this turn. Your 3 hull is hydro cannons, -2, -2, and -3, and ignore shields for missile array. And then finally the core. If you kill the core, the Ouroboros is defeated. I've been mispronouncing the boss name. I think I've been saying or I forget how I've been saying it, but it is Ouroboros. So I apologize for maybe getting that pronunciation incorrect on that. Let's go ahead and roll the threat dice. This is a big boss. That's what we're here for. I've got all my upgrades. I'm ready. Shattered Minds do not matter anymore. And we've rolled a 4, which is missile array. It ignores my shield, so 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. There's no other 4, but I still attack matrix activates, and I roll the dice again. A 5. 5 recharges the barrier. All good. Overall, I took only 3 damage. Not bad. Let's see what we can do. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, 3 threats. That's not what we needed. There's no threats that come out, so according to the rules, I believe I take 1 damage. I think so. If there are no more cards, instead lose 1 hull point. So that is correct. I was playing that correctly. I take a damage. So we've got shields, thankfully. So I lose 1 shield. Return those. Science officer, engineer, and a medical. No attack. That is bad. But I'm going to definitely use cloaking field. If no tactical officers were assigned, do not roll the threat die this round. I will not roll them. I'm not sure how that interacts with active matrix. We'll think about that in a minute. I will rescue my soldier. Excuse me. And my engineer will repair. I have cloaking field. It says if so, that is definitely active. Do not roll the threat die this round, so I don't roll it. This says roll the threat die twice. This one says don't roll the dice. I'm not rolling it. So I skip their turn, which is actually very necessary. Because this says roll 2 times the threat die, and we've rolled 0. So 2 times 0 is 0. You can yell at me in the comments if you believe I played that wrong, and I will consider your opinion. Here we go. 2 threats detected. Oh, 3 threats detected. That's another damage on my hull. Oh, hold on. I'm going to use Rescue Soldier and discard this to reroll all my threats this round. That includes my rerolls. So I can still reroll that. All threats detected this round. This is what I like to see. Fire lasers. So a bunch of tactical officers. Worf is very happy. We've got 1 commander, 1 science, and 1 engineer. So right now we have a total of 2, 4, 5. 5 damage. Let's just ratchet it up. Add another 2. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 7. We could definitely kill the barrier. So now we have 2, 4, 5. Kill the attack matrix. That is devastating. So that is dead. We're setting barrier aside because if I roll a 5, he comes back. I'll leave this here. That's the discard. So we've done 4 damage. That's these 2 dice. We still have 3 left. And I think we killed the missile array. Blast. I think we just repair with these. Oh, I could have used gravity nuke. Ah. Let's go back. Let's use gravity nuke. We can roll it back. It's just me playing. I think we use gravity nuke. 2 damage to all threats and you set your shield to 0. That's fine. Didn't have that much. So the barrier gets destroyed. The attack matrix gets destroyed. Everything does 2 damage. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we could kill the core, but I like to kill the weapons first. Call me old-fashioned. That's just the way I think it should be played. So I've got 2, 4, 5. So we can drop 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. And then 4, 5. Done. Dead. He is dead. Look at that. Using gravity nuke is crazy good. Did you see how that happened? Dead. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This was Deep Space D-6. Signing out.